What's up guys, welcome to Freedive Passion. This video, like a lot of my video, it's talking more about psychological stuff, more about attitudes, the way you see your diving, than how to frenzel or what mask to buy or what wetsuit to buy. Everybody you speak to who's good at freediving will say how important the psychological aspect of it is. And for me, it's also one of the most interesting parts about freediving. So this video is going to be addressing that. What's really interesting to me is the idea of deep, the word deep, and how that word takes on different meanings throughout your training and freediving. So if you think about it, when you first started to freedive, you had one idea of what was deep to you personally. And then over time, this word deep, the number that's associated with that word, has changed. So if you think about this, you see that deep, it's much more of a concept than an actual depth. So when I go into a new training period, I'll have an idea of what deep is. Now the purpose of the training period is to reach this depth in a comfortable way, enough times for me to believe that I can do the dive, for me to accept that I can do the dive. And once I truly accept that in every way, that dive no longer feels deep. Now I've got a new idea, a new perception of what deep is. Psychological training can speed up the process of accepting that you can do a certain depth and helping you to change your perceptions of what deep is. But almost everybody will always have to experience that depth, at least once, to really accept that they can do it. The strongest people mentally will only have to do it once. There's a few people that I've met in my time freediving that don't even need to do a depth. They just believe they can do it. They do it in a super strong way. But that's super rare. Most people need to do it at least a few times. Now, for the vast majority of people, the concept of what is deep has nothing to do with physical limitations. It's not the point where you black out. It's not the point where you squeeze or you can't equalize. It's just the point where there's some degree of fear which you can't control. The depth, the idea of the dive triggers an amount of fear which you cannot suppress and which gets in the way of your diving. Now, it may be only for a moment, and you may still be able to complete the dive. So let's say you try for a PB and you manage to do the dive, but during the dive, at some point, you get pretty freaked out and pretty scared. Now, it's easy because you're celebrating, you're happy, you got a PB, to just forget about that moment of fear. But to go past that point would be a big mistake, because you're going further and further into past your comfort zone. You're gonna start to lose relaxation, you're gonna start to mess up your technique, and then you are gonna reach some physical barriers like blacking out or squeezing, messing up your technique, for instance. I see this all the time in freediving, and it's one of the main causes of plateaus. So it's one of the main causes of people reaching a depth and just not being able to get past that depth, because they've just been pushing, and then you just reach a point where the brain and the body just won't accept the dive anymore, and you can't do what it takes to get past that depth. So my advice is that a dive never has to feel scary. It can always feel like something that you're capable of. And if you train in a smart and controlled way, you can keep progressing in your depth. You can keep getting PBs without ever feeling scared, without ever being out of your comfort zone. Okay, when you start reaching PBs, there's gonna be a degree of stress. That's normal. But the question is, it should be a manageable amount of stress, and you shouldn't be taking that down on the dive with you. Now, progressing in this comfortable and safe way, it becomes very difficult with expectations, and it's almost impossible within the setting of a course. Within a course, you enter and there's certain requirements that you need to do. Everybody starts a course and they want to complete the course, right? But there's these expectations, there's these time limits, which means by definition you have to be pushing, you have to be out of your comfort zone in order to get to the next to get to the depth, or to get to the time, or to get to the distance that you need to pass the course. Now this is setting people up totally wrong for freediving. So these are people who do courses, are generally new to freediving, and this is kind of their first experience, their only experience. It's all they know. So then for the next years and years and years, they train the same way. They're always seeing how deep they can go. They're always pushing it, and then you just reach a plateau. This is the reason I don't teach courses anymore. I don't want people to have expectations. The only thing that I want to help people with is to become better, whether that means learning one thing in a week, or if they have the potential, we can learn 10 things in 1 week. The point is, it needs to be according to the individual and how ready they are for the information. Essentially, coaching removes expectations and allows people to progress at their own pace. The point is this: the concept of what is deep comes from your perception of what you're capable of. If you train in a smart and correct way, you can start to extend your perceptions of what you're capable of and enjoy each dive without any fear. This frees up your mind to enjoy the dive, to be present, to be aware, to bring back useful information from each dive, which is going to help you to progress in the future. Okay, that's it. Now remember, freediving can be challenging, freediving can help you grow, but freediving doesn't have to feel hard, it doesn't have to feel scary, even when you start going deep. Until next time guys, take it easy and dive safe.